When I started this channel, I told you that I was not going to be a news reader, neither was I going to analyze what I thought people meant when they made speeches and so on. I stand by this. I will not break that rule. However, after going through what our so-called president had to say on Sunday night, most people were left speechless with only one thing to say: WTF. Well, it has been a couple of days since our so-called president addressed us, and I have calmed down enough to have thought through just how I'm going to respond. I don't know if any of you subscribe to The Morning Shot or to Germ's channels on YouTube, but if you do, you would have heard their responses to Cyril the Puppet's address. I decided that I was not going to rant today. I was rather going to explain to you exactly what is going on here, because honestly, I believe that most of us don't. Firstly, let's call a spade a spade. This COVID-19 pandemic is nothing but a farce of biblical proportions. Now, before any of you jump into the comments section saying that the virus is real, I agree with you. I have no doubt that the virus exists. In fact, it is nothing new. The COVID variety of viri appears in the 1989 version of the AMA Encyclopedia of Disease on page 1051, that's 1051. As can be seen, it is defined as a common cold. Now you might be asking, what about all the people who have died from it? Well, I saw some stats recently of the survival rate of people under 70 years old who contract the coronavirus, and it is in the region of 99.2 to 99.9%. This is barely more serious than a common flu. We have been told that the infection rate has skyrocketed, and I don't dispute that. Isn't it normal for people to catch colds and flu this time of the year? To support this, I'd like to show you this graph. What you're looking at here is a graph of COVID cases over time, as well as the death rate superimposed over the same time frame. Do you notice anything strange here? If not, let me point it out to you. As we have been told, the rate of infections has skyrocketed. The graph by itself looks pretty scary, doesn't it? Until you compare it to the deaths that have taken place over the same period of time. That is the bit that appears right at the bottom of the graph. Yes, the one that has hardly changed at all since they started charting it. This is my interpretation of it. According to this graph, the death rate either has not or has barely changed at all, even though the number of cases have literally skyrocketed to numbers exceeding 12,000 a day. I could go even further and say that the minuscule change in the number of deaths could easily be attributed to the time of the year and the severe cold weather we have been experiencing lately. This graph literally proves that the COVID-19 pandemic is a myth, in my opinion anyway. The number of people dying has barely changed. As I said, this is the time of the year when people traditionally catch colds and flu. Here is something else that puzzles me. Don't you think that it is just a little strange that despite the fact that every single person these days has a cell phone equipped with a camera in their pocket, yet I have not seen a single photo, not a single video showing the overflowing hospitals, the overflowing mortuaries, etc. Not a single one. If you have, please send them to me. I'd like to see them. Until recently, alcohol has been sold almost 7 days a week for years. Yet, all of a sudden, it is a problem and has to be banned immediately. Now, I don't know if you remember, a little while after the first time alcohol was banned, we saw articles and photos on social media of SAB having to throw away hundreds of thousands of liters of beer. This is after they were given notice ahead of time. This had to have been a loss of millions of rands to SAB. On Sunday night, Cyril Ramaphosa announces once again that alcohol is to be banned, but this time with immediate effect. No notice ahead of time. Now, since alcohol was unbanned a while ago, I'm sure that SAB once again filled their tanks and brewed a fresh brew of beer for all the various brands. They just get going again, and what does the government do? They tell them they can't sell their products again. What is going to happen to all the beer currently in production? Cigarettes have been banned basically since the beginning of the lockdown, yet there is actually evidence that suggests that smokers are at a lesser risk from COVID-19. When it comes to the cigarette ban, we have literally been told that it is okay for illegal cigarette manufacturers to sell their products on the black market at 5 times the price of the legally produced cigarettes. I'm sure that the fact that NDZ and her family are involved in the illegal manufacture of cigarettes had nothing to do with the decision, right? If you thought that all of this is totally absurd, wait, there's more. We've now been told that we are not allowed to visit our family and they are not allowed to visit us at home. Yet you can apparently go to a restaurant and meet them all there. If that wasn't enough, we were told that we may not get into our private car, even if we are alone, and travel across any of the provincial borders. Yet, it is perfectly okay for a taxi to be loaded to capacity and to travel anywhere they like, as long as the windows are open, of course. Now, it might just be me, but this has to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That wind blowing through the taxi should do pretty well to spread the virus nice and evenly throughout the taxi, don't you think? If that wasn't enough, we were told that we are now not allowed to leave our homes between 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. Please can someone explain the science behind this to me? To crown it all, we were told, like naughty little children, in no uncertain terms, that this was all our fault. This is the part where I, unlike Germ telling the president to go F himself, which I thoroughly enjoyed, by the way, well done, Germ, I flip him the bird. People, if you haven't realized what is going on by now, let me spell it out for you. In short, you are a lamb being led to your slaughter. Don't believe me? Go and study the history of the Holocaust. This process is exactly what was used to firstly train the people to be obedient and to make them dependent on the government. Once that was accomplished, the people willingly gave up their rights. We all know how it ended for them, didn't we? What gives the president of any country, unless you are the president of a shithole like North Korea, the right to decide for you or I when we can or can't see our own family members? What gives him the right to decide for you or I what is good for us and what is not? There isn't a single bit of scientific evidence to support a single regulation imposed on us, yet we just accept it as is. Anyone would have to be a total idiot not to know that we are having our rights trampled on to the extreme. All of this after the LFN or Liberty Fighters Network won a court case in June which literally declared the majority of these draconian regulations to be irrational and unconstitutional, to such an extent that the judge literally denied the government the right to appeal his decision regarding them. Today I heard that the government has done just that. They have appealed the entire judgment to the Constitutional Court. Now, I am not a lawyer or a law specialist in any way, shape or form, but this process just doesn't seem right to me. It should not be permitted. So where does that leave us, the mere mortals living way down below the ivory towers that these morons we call government live in? Well, that is entirely up to us. If we accept these regulations without question and obey them to the letter, we are complicit and have no right to complain. My advice and request to you is to disobey these regulations as far as possible. Take the taxi industry as an example. Why do you think they have been permitted to fill the taxis to capacity? It is because they told the government long ago to go and take a hike. They literally told the government that they will not comply. The government had no choice but to concede to their demands or face looking like complete idiots. Not that they don't anyway. So I'm asking you to disobey these regulations. Go and visit your family. Have your weekend gathering on a Saturday. When a law or regulation is not right, disobey it. When a law infringes on your rights, disobey it. If we don't start to push back against this tyranny now, we are going to find ourselves in a position we will regret. Remember the Jews and what happened to them? As another example of what we are in for if we don't start to rebel against this tyrannical government now, is to take note of what happened in Haiti in 1804. Basically, it is a story of what happened to the French whites in Haiti. I will put that at the end of this video for you. So basically, this is how I see things at the moment. We are sitting at a crossroads. We need to make a decision right now. Tomorrow is a day too late. In fact, this decision should have been made long time ago already. We need to decide whether we want a future here or not. You have seen now and been told by the puppet that calls himself the President of South Africa that we, that is you and I, are going to be targeted. We are going to be persecuted. We are going to have our pensions expropriated. We are going to have our land expropriated. We are going to have our businesses crushed by these draconian regulations. We are going to be targeted by corrupt and criminal police, traffic and other so-called authorities. Like I said in my last video, there is no future for you and I if things keep heading in the direction they are. In my opinion, there is no peaceful way of changing the direction we are heading, and there is no political party, past, present or future, that has the solution to our problem. Because of this, it is my opinion that our one and only hope is to secede. We need a place of our own where we will hopefully never make the same mistakes we made that got us into this position we sit in today. We have learned, or we should have learned by now, that the day we give up the right to govern ourselves is the first day of our own destruction. Those who disagree with me, I urge you to take a long, hard look at the alternative. We are all sitting too scared to do anything because we don't want to be seen as the ones who started the fight. What we don't realize is that the war started a long time ago, but we are the only ones that are not fighting. We are being picked off daily in the most savage ways possible, yet we are doing nothing about it. As I said, this has happened many times in many other African countries, and it has always ended the same way. What makes you think it is going to end any differently here? Our best option is to secede while obeying all international laws regarding secession. That way, there is no way any other country can tell us that we started the fight. At the same time, don't make the mistake of thinking that secession is possible without a fight. Well, technically it is, but practically it would never happen. The ANC will never support it and will do everything they possibly can to prevent it. That includes attacking us. Isn't this what we have been wanting all along? Not to be the ones who started the fight? There will be no doubt whatsoever who started the fight then. This will give us the international legal right to defend ourselves and will, by their own rules and laws, oblige the international community to help us protect our country. Either way, it is my opinion that we have to prepare ourselves for a fight. It's inevitable and unavoidable. Why not go into it being considered to be the good guys by the international community? So guys and girls, my suggestion is to support any and all secession movements. Go and register with, vote for, or give your mandate for secession with all of the secession movements. Think about it. The secession movement that wants to secede the biggest portion of land includes all the others. Secession by any means has to be better than what we have right now and where we are heading. We are a civilized people. Don't you think we can work out the details afterwards without cutting each other's throats and killing each other? I will put links to the most popular secession movements that I know of in the description. If you decide to give your support to one of them, I ask you to please give your support to all of them. You never know which one of them might be successful. Here's the Wikipedia description of what happened in Haiti in 1804. The 1804 Haiti massacre was a genocide carried out against the French population and French Creoles, or Franco-Haitians, remaining in Haiti following the Haitian Revolution, by soldiers, mostly former slaves, under orders from Jean-Jacques Dessalines, I think it is. He had decreed that all suspected of conspiring in the acts of the expelled army should be put to death. The massacre, which took place throughout Haiti, occurred from early in January 1804 until 22nd of April 1804 and resulted in the death of 3,000 to 5,000 people. Squads of soldiers moved from house to house, torturing and killing entire families. Doesn't this sound familiar? Please like this video and share it on as many other social media platforms as possible. It's the only way my message gets out there. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, do it now. What have you got to lose? While you are there, click on the bell icon to receive notifications whenever I upload new content. If you would like to support my work by making a contribution to my channel, in the description field I have provided ways for both local as well as international viewers to make a contribution. Because I have had a number of people telling me that they would like to support me but will not use Patreon for whatever reason, I have registered with Zapper, so if you would like to make use of Zapper, pause this video right about now and scan the Zapper code. To all the amazing people out there who do support me, I say a huge thank you. Your contributions certainly help me to keep the lights on. Remember to wash your hands and stay safe out there. Until next time.